Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gloves Off. Believe it or not, this is the first Gloves Off in 2026 because there's been a lot of stuff going on and I haven't even been able to record this. So I did wind up doing an episode of Gloves Off After Dark, but this is the first Gloves Off. So I'm so excited about today's guest because he is in the finance world and we met on LinkedIn and we share a lot of similar philosophies about money and wealth. And we had a wonderful conversation. And he has actually written a wonderful book that is very, it's really easy to read and easy to digest because a lot of times we talk about money and wealth and the talks go over our heads. Things are hard to understand. And that's what I love about the way that he's written the book. So I'm so excited. We're really going to be talking about how to stop playing defense with your money. And joining me today is my guest, and his name, it's Lucky for short because it's really, I actually don't even know how to say it. So I'm going to try it. And then when he gets on here, he's going to tell me if I did it right because we're both Indian, but I'm kind of a fake Indian because I've lived in this country way too long. So it's Luxmihaasan, Rasappah. I think I said it right. So we'll hope I did a good job. And he is a universal financial literacy coach. He's spent about 25 years helping people and businesses move from uncertainty to financial clarity. And that's so important because many of us are just trying to keep up, play defense with our money, and we're not really creating clarity and making our money work for us. And that is so important. He's guided thousands of people through wealth protection, retirement strategy, not just to grow money, but to actually stabilize it because that's what we want. He's also the founder of two Canadian financial firms, and he's seen firsthand how high-performing professionals stay stuck playing defense with their finances. So that's exactly what we're going to unpack today because people will work hard, but they don't feel financially stable and they often feel financially exposed. And that's exactly what we want to avoid. So let's welcome Lucky to Gloves Off.
Nice meeting you, Kalpana. I think you pronounced my name perfectly.
Oh, phew. I was so
Yeah,
nervous. I said, I didn't
exactly.
really ask before. I usually mean to do that. And for some reason, I forgot to do it. And I said, well, now I'm just on the spot, live, having to just pronounce it properly.
You did a good job because you're Asian, so you pronounce exactly Luxmihaasan Rasappah. That's my name, and everybody called me Lucky, so you did.
Well, I think having the nickname Lucky in your field is probably very helpful because people will work with you and they just feel like they're going to get lucky.
Lucky enough to work with me. Yes, I'm lucky to
Exactly.
work with them, and they're lucky to work with me too. So it's win-win situation. Exactly.
Absolutely. So tell us, how did you get involved in finance? What was it that drew you to finance in the first place?
The first place, actually, I have a legal background. I studied BA law in
Oh,
university, but in Canada. But end up with, I was looking this financial industry. I was doing some research in 1999. Uh, that's my fourth year of studying in university, and I realized a lot of baby boomers not getting enough information. Plus, my one of my uncle, my mom's side, my mom brother, passed away in Canada without a insurance, without a financial stability of his family to have enough income to support them. When I see that, I think people need real help.
they do.
And I see banks are not helping a lot of individual, okay, because banks are all based on shareholders' benefits,
Hmm.
and not only that, um, people need advice sitting in their kitchen table talking about their finance, and that's the time they will be more comfortable opening up, right? And they could personally share their things, personal family issues. I
Hmm.
call in this way win situation, WIN. What we discuss in the kitchen table, we discuss about what they want. in their life.
Hmm.
Then we talk about I stand for what are the issues they go for, what are the issues they're going through. And then the last N stand is needs, what they need to have.
Mm.
A win, it's going to be win for them. If I as an advisor, I actually sold that their win, they will able to understand. Oh my God, they could get these things by one of the experienced advisor able to provide them a financial stability, right? So I
Yeah.
think that's why I was involved in this business. Um,
Well, you bring up a really good point because it is it's a very vulnerable situation to discuss finances. So when I do my financial consultations, I like to say they're almost getting financially undressed. As a doctor, of course, I've seen people in their very vulnerable situations, undressed, ill, not feeling their best. But it's just like that. It's like they're getting financially undressed. You have to ask them about their debt. What are the issues that they have? What are the things that are keeping them from living the life with financial stability that they want? And I think I have to mention another thing. I think that society, I don't know what it's like in Canada, but in the US, we're taught that, financial stability equals getting a job, working
mhm,
there to get your 401k
yeah,
and all your benefits, buying a home,
mhm,
and, just that's kind of all you're ever really told. That, and oh, I'm sorry, get health insurance. So
yeah,
then, according to society, you are financially stable. Well, that couldn't be further from the truth. And, first of all, I like that you said the wants, because based on how somebody wants to live their life, you are going to be able to change their financial picture to give them what they want. So, for example, people keep telling me I need to buy a house. Well, I've owned homes 90% of my life. And right now, I don't want to own a home because I want to have freedom right now. I may change my mind later, but I did all that. I raised my children. I lived in a home. I had all the headaches of home ownership. I don't want that right now. So, granted, my apartment flooded a few weeks ago, and, it was a headache because I had to move, but you know what? I didn't own it, so I could leave it.
yeah. You're right. Absolutely, you're correct. You know what? The financial literacy doesn't teach in school. So I don't blame people, but our society, our government, like you are living in, they don't teach much.
Mm-mm.
If you ask yourself, okay, the biggest expense in your life, people think it's their mortgages.
Mhm.
That's not true. The biggest expense is taxes. Why? When you earn money, you need to pay tax to the IRS in the US, in Canada, CRA. But even if you buy stuff, some of the states or some of the province in Canada, you need to pay tax. So even if you earn, you need to pay tax. Even if you buy, you have to pay tax. Even if you save, you're going to pay taxes. Even if you die, you have to pay tax. In US, there's a estate tax.
Mhm.
But in Canada, there's no estate tax. We have a capital gain taxes. So it's a big difference, and people don't learn about that, right? So this is how I want to make sure everybody understand the financial literacy. That's why I wrote the book about
Yeah.
financial literacy.
I haven't read the whole thing, but I read about probably a good half or more than half. But what I loved about it, even for me, there might have been some terms, I can't remember what they were now, but that it just gave more clarity because it puts it in a very easy to understand way. And I don't think that financial literacy should be over anyone's head. I think a third grader should be able to understand it. And I think that all people should have been taught this in school, but I have a conspiracy theory on this. I believe that they don't teach it to us in school because the banks benefit when you don't understand anything, the government benefits when you don't understand anything, the IRS benefits when you don't understand anything. So my goal is to make sure I understand everything so nobody benefits from my lack of knowledge.
You know what? Absolutely. The way you told me about it, you want a freedom, right? The
Yes.
freedom you could get from only financial literacy. That's why my book all about building your financial freedom empire, right? The beauty of this, why I'm telling you, freedom is my each
Putting the book
chapter
link there.
my each chapter start with first letter of freedom. So my F stand for financial management, R stand for retirement planning, E stand for estate planning, another E stand for establishing your investments, D stand for debt management, O stand for owning your own business, and the last chapter is before last chapter is M stand for minimizing taxes, and the last chapter is marriage and divorce. That's also happening in many country. So that's also I put in that one of the last chapter. So if you actually get this knowledge, I'm telling you, you will be much better than the ordinary people,
Oh,
right?
I love that you even have I love that freedom. You have it in such a clear acronym so people know all of the building blocks that they need for financial freedom. And honestly, that last M is very, very important because people just get married. They don't think about the financial ramifications of that marriage, divorce, and honestly, listen, you can marry for love and all of that. It's great, but you really should do it with your eyes wide open and understand the financial ramifications before you go into it. I'm sorry, because it could be a financial disaster.
It is. The one I mentioned, 11 things before you get into marriage,
Hmm.
you have to discuss with your partner. That's a crucial thing because because this is my experience. I have 25 years experience dealing with people, and every time when I meet a family, they have these kind of issues going on. So what I put my knowledge, my experience in this book with saving future disaster for their marriage. So this is going to help a lot of young people in order to avoid this separation or divorce. If they understand these 11 things, they need to look into their partner before they discuss all this aspect of it, and they are finalizing it, and then they work together and they put together some of the information or document that they need to have, and then thereon they could go themselves.
And really, I don't think it's just for young people. I feel like even people who are in a second marriage should be asking their partner all these things, really, because the reality is this, I was very young when I got married. I don't know how old you were when you got married, but the reality is I didn't know any of these things. Luckily, I got divorced and it wasn't these horror stories that other people have. So I got lucky in that aspect. We were very amicable the whole time. But that isn't everybody's situation. So that is not most people's situation. But the reality is this: when you look to spend your life with a human being, you actually have to know what their financial profile is. Meaning, I didn't actually get to that part of the book, but I'm just going to give my 2 cents worth and you can
Yeah.
just chime in. My thoughts are this: that you have to really know, what kind of how they spend money, what their kind of debt issue is, what their credit scores are, how they spend money, what's important to them. I mean, these are just, I didn't even read that, but these are just things I already know for myself, what I'm looking for. Secondly, not even from a financial standpoint, I'm going to digress a little because I think that it's important to make sure that that person has the same values as you.
Yes.
Because if you have one person who doesn't care about financial freedom or any of that, and they just want to have a fly by night fun life or doing whatever,
Yeah.
that is not going to be a right partner for somebody who wants to have financial freedom.
You actually nail certain points that people need to understand because the value, first of all, you set, and then you set financial freedom. And you also have to think about the lifestyle that they want to go. Maybe one person will be a more spender, one person will be more saver,
I
and they
think they
may have.
usually wind up together somehow.
Yes, they do. So
They
they need
usually-
to balance, they have to balance out. But you need to know other person, I have to know other person in order to, if this person is spending and I have to save it, it's going to balance out. If both are spending, it's going to be a disaster, right? So
Yes.
this is the things before they get married. It's a big commitment for them.
Hmm.
Before they get married, they need to discuss 11 things. I will keep it in surprise because they need to read that book in order
Like
to
that.
understand that.
This is why I'm glad I didn't give it away. But that the general gist is that is an extremely important thing to talk to. And listen, if you, for those of you listening today, if you can't talk to your future partner about money, I think you might reconsider that whole relationship because you are marrying this person and you should be able to talk to them about anything. And I've heard people say, oh, I don't know, I don't want to rock the boat. That's uncomfortable. You're going to marry this person and you should be able to talk about uncomfortable things.
Because this is partnership.
Yes,
True life come together. It's a partnership. Everything is sharing,
right,
right?
right.
Even if we are not healthy, other person have to look after. One person is not financially stable, other person have to help. So they need to discuss these things because they become a partner. They become a one family,
And
right?
I'll also say that you really have to ask open questions, very direct. So I had a prior experience where I was with somebody for in a long relationship, a couple of years, you know. I didn't find out till almost 3 years into it that his financial situation was not what he was portraying it to be.
That's why in a way that when you dating somebody or you want to be involved in a relationship, you need to be transparent first of all.
Can you
You,
ask for their tax returns? Is this a good thing?
um, I will say in a way, I know some privacy involvement, but you should know this person have a good credit rating they have, and
Hmm.
you need to manage his personal finance, how he's handling it. You need to just do some analyzing with him because you have to say, you know what, if I want to be partner with you, I need to know. I don't want to be struggling with you with your own struggle already you having, right? I want to make sure that I'm coming into your partnership with in a good way to support you, not to destroy you or you're going to destroy my life, right? So
Right.
this is the things you need to discuss in further, and they need to be open because if they're not open, they're hiding something. That's why if you see it, the statistics shows in North America, I don't want to give you a scary number. Almost 50% of the divorce is happening because of the finance.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yes,
I
yes.
believe it. It's usually one of several things. It's usually sex, it's usually money. Those are usually the two most common reasons. But I will
Because
say it's important to ask very direct questions. So, this person that I'm talking about was very good about managing a budget every month, looking at the expenses, very regimented about those things.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
I never asked the question about the credit score or what do you have saved, you know. And those two questions would have given me a very different answer. See, I made the assumption that, oh, he's so very diligent about this budgeting and looking at the budget and spreadsheets, and actually way more diligent than me, to be honest, you know. I mean, I wasn't in this predicament that he was in. So it was very interesting how you have to really ask the right questions to get the right answers.
Imagine if a person is self-employed or a business owner, and a person who bringing employees income is a fixed income.
Hmm.
Even they become a partner, one person he's not getting stable income means, I mean, like he's running a business, he's just maybe 1 month he may bring more money, other month he doesn't bring more money. But when they become a partner, they have financial obligation to pay their bills,
Hmm.
right? And if they don't discuss properly, right, what will happen, right?
Right.
So it's going to be a disaster. That's why marriage, you could save so many marriages understanding this financial literacy aspect of, and then if they plan ahead of time, and design that roadmap how they're going to be resolving these problems, and they will be in good shape in the future.
100%. I think it's really a fabulous idea. It's almost like really we have to take a driving test to get a driver's license. I really do think that we should have some sort of, I think there should be something in place to allow people to have children. Sometimes I feel like, the people that have children and they don't take care of them properly drives me bananas. There should be something in place to make sure that people are trying to be as reasonable as they can be before entering into these big decisions. Well, big decisions that affect other people's lives.
It's true. I want to touch upon something in this book. Okay, this is going to impact big time for your life. In this book, there's a chapter called estate planning.
Yes, so
I
important.
put a very, very one diagram. It's called estate planning framework. Is three sector have to be looked into that framework: legal, financial, and taxation. If
Hmm.
you understand this aspect of the framework, it's going to give you better results in your estate planning. Okay, so even if you are incapacitated or when you die, if you put all these things in that framework that you already built on it, you don't need to worry about it. Same thing on my before last chapter, my seventh chapter, minimizing taxes. I put a framework of how to minimize your taxes. It's a framework.
Mm.
It's a great diagram. I put it in a picture format. You could get it. That's also you could save so much money in taxes. Even I'll tell you, next 10 years or 20 years, if you follow that framework, I'll tell you, you could save thousands or millions of dollars by following that framework.
Yes. Oh, I mean, that's amazing. This is all very, very important. So, what would you say is important for people to stop playing defense and start creating the kind of financial future that they want to strive towards?
Okay, in school and also in our human nature, we are more scared to learn some new stuff. And we
Yes.
also hear from other people that they lost money or that they are not ready to do something, so they are kind of thinking about how it can be done. But I need to tell my own clients or even my other colleagues, you need to be open, learn, read books, right? Do some coaching session with someone, or because you need a financial person, a financial planner or financial advisor able to help you. Be open-minded, be discuss with them. Because if you have a family doctor and talking to them about your family history and your health condition, same thing when you comes to financial planner, you open with all your financial matter, right?
Yeah.
And discuss with them. And people who have experience and have some designation, they are able to help you big time. In my book, several chapter, I re-emphasize these things. You need to have a proper lawyer. You need to have a proper financial planner. You need to have a proper accountant to deal your financial aspect of it. So
Absolutely.
that's the way you could build your freedom in your life. Otherwise, you cannot build your freedom, right? That's the key I want to tell to all the audience or your podcast people, that I want to emphasize, re-emphasize to people to get some financial literacy knowledge.
Yeah, and when you should always understand the basics on your own, but again, it's always also very important to have the right financial professionals because there's no way that you can become a complete expert in all of these. So the goal is to understand the general the generalizations of it all, which I feel your book really outlines very, very well to understand the general, high level picture. But then we have to realize that there's a lot of nuance into all of these things, that the accountant goes to school for many years, the financial professional goes to school for many years, and the tax professional goes to school for many years to understand tax law, all of those things. So, you can't just do it all yourself, but it's important to have that base of knowledge. So when they're talking to you, they're telling you this one's telling you that, you have the knowledge to navigate that in the right way. And the time is gone for people to be buried under the sand like an ostrich, and not know what's happening with their finances and hope that they have 401k and all of these things and that they're okay. That is not true, first of all. And secondly, the average American is living a lot longer than they used to, 15, 20 years ago. The life expectancy is up to, 70, I think it's 78 or something last time I checked in the United States, which is a lot higher. So the other problem is many people will outlive their retirement.
Yeah.
I mean, won't outlive their retirement. Wait. Am I saying that wrong? What am I saying? Most people will not have enough. They will outlive their retirement. I said it right
They
the
do.
first
They
time.
do.
Yes. So you don't want to be in that position either. That there are people who literally have told me, I just hope I die by age, I don't know, X, because I don't have enough money to live past then. Well, that's a terrible way to live, number one. There are ways that you can mitigate that problem with certain investments and life insurance policies. And that's another big thing. People don't understand what life insurance really even is. They think, well, I'm dead, I won't need it. But there are certain types of life insurance that you can actually have long-term disability benefits while you're alive. You can actually have, money coming in while you're retired, so you don't have to pray to die before a certain age, so you don't because you're running out of money. There are so many creative ways that you can do that. And then people don't realize that you can mitigate the loss and take advantage of the upside with a lot of these life insurance benefits and all this. You can really be very creative and with tax strategy and save money. They say, oh, I don't have the money for that. But gosh, sometimes you save so much in taxes that you can put it into something else. There's just a lot of creative ways to utilize the money you make and make it work for you in the best way. But again, if you're closed minded and you live from the perspective of all we have to do to have financial freedom is buy a house, make sure we have 401k and health insurance, and we're good, you're going to be behind the eight ball.
I want to summarize what you said in a nutshell.
Yes,
First
please.
of all, you need a team to work with. So the accountants, financial planner, legal lawyers is a team. So you need a team to work with. Second of
100%.
all, right? You mentioned about taxes. IRS and CRA and income tax acts allow to minimize your taxes. Long as you understand how to minimize your taxes, that's called tax planning. You
Hmm.
need to work with the financial planner or expert accountant to do your tax planning, not tax filing. I'm talking about tax planning. Tax filing, when you finish that year, you go and filing your taxes. That's not tax planning.
Hmm.
Tax planning is throughout the year how you could minimize your taxes. There's a roadmap you could certain in the IRS section will allow you to minimize your taxes. So you need to understand it, or you need to bring your team to work with it, right? And
100%.
also, the way I express people, people are in a lot of social media, people have cryptocurrency. The estate planning aspect of this is called digital assets. People much, I will say, not aware of certain things they need to do before they die. They need to do the digital assets protection. Okay, people have Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, all. Something happened to them. How are they going to be closing this account? If somebody hack your account and use it after your death, it's a identity theft, right? So these are things they need to look into that. So this is also in the book. I want to emphasize it. So
That's important, actually.
it is. So these are things I want to summarize what you all bring it, because people need to work with the team and bring all this good stuff in their financial aspect of it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you bring up some points that I didn't even think of. Now, as I get through the rest of the book, I'm going to make sure that everything is taken care of. I have a lot of it taken care of, but you bring up a few things that I never thought about, especially the social media accounts. I mean, I hope I'm not going anywhere soon, but it's really important to make sure that those things are taken care of. Absolutely. These things are very, very important. So I love it because the book is also written in a very step-by-step fashion. So you can very easily see where you have places that you need to finalize things and, where you have work to do. And it's not overwhelming. I didn't feel when like I said, I didn't finish the whole thing, but I didn't feel overwhelmed by it. There were some things that I was like, oh, I got to go back and look at that a little more in detail, but it's written very clearly, and that's huge. So this was such a great conversation. I feel that so many people can benefit from this. So I was very excited, and I thought, what better way to start our first gloves off with a nice financial conversation, right? And I want to put up your website. So if any of you are interested in getting to know more about Lucky, you can actually take a look at his website there. And I forgot, where are you in Canada again? Is it Toronto?
I'm in Toronto. It's close to the Pearson Airport. Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought. I thought it was somewhere. I thought it was Toronto when we had last.
I'm a keynote speaker for many event. I'm also with couple of speakers bureau. I'm partner with a couple of speakers bureaus, and if you guys want to talk about financial literacy, I'm here. So
I love it. Well, who knows? Maybe we're going to be co-doing some sort of event together up in Canada.
love to, love to.
We talked about that, but I like it. We'll put that on the agenda maybe for 2026.
Definitely will do it this year. Yes.
Yes. Oh, it was so great to have you here. And it was such an enjoyable conversation and a very enlightening conversation, and one that I think everybody needs to know about. So thank you for spending the time and being here on Gloves Off and sharing all your 25 years of wisdom with us.
Thank you so much, Kalpana, having me in this first podcast that you're going to have for 2026. I'm
Yes.
excited to share my own knowledge, my skill set that I share with you, and I think for your audience too. But I love to be coming back if you wants to, and I think you should go back and read this book one more time, and you will get more knowledge. That's all I
Yes.
have to say.
Absolutely. I'm finishing that book. I finally just got to a place where life settled down enough where I could actually pay attention and read it. That it is sitting there waiting to be read. So I will definitely be reading it. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing all your knowledge. And you have a great rest of the evening. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right. Bye, Lucky. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I found that to be very, very informative. Really, I can't get enough of talking about finances. I think it's such an important thing for all of us to know and learn about. Even though I feel like I know quite a bit, I feel like I could definitely learn more. So it's one of those things in life that you can just continue to get more knowledge. I just wanted to share that I'm going to see if I can't put this up here real quick. I think it's going to block my face, but I'm going to try it and see if it works. And it's Thrive by Design. So I'm doing this next. It's actually on Wednesday. So I'm going to be talking about the art of having difficult conversations. So you can scan there to join. It's entirely free. I know it's covering my face, but that's okay. There's no distractions this way. So hopefully you guys can be here for that. And let me get that off there. So it's Wednesday, February 18th, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The art of having difficult conversations, because the reality is in this world, many of us run from having difficult conversations, and difficult conversations are important to learn how to navigate, whether it's with business arrangements, whether it's with other human beings. It's very, very important to learn how to do that well. So if you're able to join, I would love to have you there. And so glad to have you guys here and joining me for another episode of Gloves Off, and I'll see you next time.